Hey there, Cinemaster fans! Hope you're ready for some movie magic. Let's dive right in. Our film begins in a boarding school unlike any other school. We see a group of students sitting with a new teacher, Novak. We learn that she is a nutrition instructor specializing in improving dietary habits. She asks each of them why they chose a subject focused on improving eating behaviors. Their answers vary. Some believe that food and exercise don't go hand in hand. Others want to reduce meat consumption for environmental reasons. And some think food is the reason for their lack of focus in studies. Later, Novak meets with Dorset, the school principal, who informs her that the students' parents expect them to improve their children's eating habits. Novak invites Dorset to try her tea, which she personally prepares. We find out that Novak produces a specific type of healthy tea. Meanwhile, a student named Rajna is seen dining with her parents. We notice that they only eat vegetarian food. They ask Rajna to demonstrate mindful eating techniques. Rajna's father later reveals to her mother that he was the one who suggested the school hire Novak. We learn that Novak is very famous and well known in the field of nutrition. At the same time, another student named Elsa is having a meal with her parents. She stares intently at the food without eating, which annoys her father. He asks her to eat like a normal person and stop mimicking her mother. He doesn't believe in the mindful eating practices they are trying to adopt. Back at school, Novak notices a student named Fred eating alone. She learns that he didn't visit his family over the weekend. She invites him to join her for yoga sessions. The next morning, Rajna is seen playing on the trampoline, while Fred is practicing ballet with the teacher. Later, the students gather with Novak, and Fred shares that he focused on what he ate the previous day. As a result, his hunger disappeared. He ate less, reduced his insulin dose, and felt less tired after eating. Novak explains to the group that mindful eating helps improve the body's metabolism. She teaches them that when the body goes without food for a while, cells begin to eliminate harmful substances and renew themselves, which detoxifies the body. This practice can extend a person's lifespan by 10 to 20 years. During the break, the students eat together. Their plates contain very small portions, but they eat cautiously. Novak approaches a student named Ben, who is eating normally. She asks him to take a small bite and chew slowly, explaining that this will help him eat less. Elsewhere, Elsa notices Ben with Rajna and mocks him for getting chocolate to eat. Ben retorts, accusing Elsa of seeking attention. Surprised by his comment, Elsa walks away. Later, Elsa confides in Rajna, mentioning that she admires her strong willpower and self-control. She wishes she could avoid eating altogether, but her father forces her to eat. Rajna reassures her that many people, like her father, struggle to accept the idea of eating very little, as it challenges their own eating habits and mistakes. That night, Fred practices yoga in his room. He gets annoyed with Ben, who is eating, and asks when he will improve his eating habits. Ben ignores him, leading Fred to ask why he dislikes Novak. Ben replies that he doesn't want to be like the others. This angers Fred, who mocks Ben for being disliked by everyone. The next morning, the students gather with Novak, who informs them that all food is essentially waste, and that the only healthy options are vegetables and fruits. She introduces them to a mono diet, focusing on eating only one type of vegetable per day. During the break, each student receives a single potato on their plate. They eat it slowly to feel full. However, Elsa, who is particularly hungry, eats her portion quickly and rushes to the bathroom to vomit. She later confesses to Novak that she ate mindlessly because she was starving. Novak reassures her that it's human nature to make mistakes. She encourages Elsa to show her willpower and regain control. After leaving Novak's office, Elsa and Liam wait for Rajna, who offers them some of Novak's special tea. Meanwhile, Fred has a video call with his parents and younger brother. He tells them he misses them and wants to visit, but his parents refuse due to his poor exam grades, insisting he stay and focus on his studies. Fred attends a ballet lesson, but his instructor notices he is distracted. When asked if something is bothering him, Fred remains silent. He decides to speak with Novak, expressing frustration that his parents don't trust him, always making him feel like a failure. Novak tries to comfort him and boost his confidence. The next day, Novak meets with Dorset, explaining that not all students are responding to the mindful eating program, especially Ben. Dorset is surprised, as Ben is a talented and intelligent student. Novak explains that Ben refuses to try mindful eating, and she cannot give him a full grade in nutrition because he isn't applying her teachings. Without the grade, Ben risks losing his scholarship. Dorset reveals that Ben's mother is a single parent and his father is deceased, which might be affecting him. She later takes Ben to her office, explaining that the mindful eating program could benefit him, helping him secure the scholarship and ease his mother's financial burden. During the mindful eating session, Ben participates with his classmates. When Novak asks why he eats mindlessly, Ben responds that it's simply natural for him and that he has no specific reason, other than the fact that he cannot upset his mother because she loves cooking all his favorite meals. Novak tells Ben and everyone present that if they continue to fulfill all their parents' demands, they will lose themselves. She asks Ben if he is willing to change, and he agrees to try. Over the weekend, Ben is at his mother's house, and she prepares the food he loves while being happy to have him around. At that moment, Ben's mother notices that he has started eating mindfully and realizes that he is not obligated to do anything against his will, not even for a scholarship. She says that the school he attends is not suitable for him, his mindset, or their financial situation because he is not wealthy. Meanwhile, at school, Elsa and Ragna are sitting with Novak, discussing a video they saw online about someone who derives energy from light and does not eat at all. They ask her if this is really possible, and she tells them about a club called Zero, whose members abstain from eating entirely. She mentions knowing one of its members but explains that the club is secret because the world finds it hard to believe that they are right and everyone else is wrong. Elsa and Ragna ask if they can join the club, and Novak is thrilled. She requests that the club's existence remain a secret, as no one knows about it. At night, Fred goes with Novak to an opera party where they coincidentally encounter Doris. When they greet him, it is evident that Novak and Fred are reluctant to talk to him. The next morning at school, Daw goes to Novak's class and asks her to send Fred out because it's time for his ballet lesson, and Fred is late. Novak responds coldly, informing him that Fred is currently in a meditation session and will come afterward. Daw leaves, frustrated. During this time, Novak speaks to the students about their activities, telling them they will be part of the machine that will survive after the world's decline. She has them practice meditation while singing a specific song associated with their training. It is then revealed that Novak has convinced the students to join the Zero Club and abstain from eating entirely. However, 2 students refuse to continue in the club, stating they can reduce their food intake but cannot live without eating. Fred and the other students mock them, calling them weak and lacking willpower. Over the weekend, Elsa is sitting at the dining table with her mother and refuses to eat. Surprisingly, her mother supports her decision and says she will also stop eating. At the same time, Ragna is at home with her parents, claiming she is full and lying that she ate earlier because she was very hungry. However, her parents don't believe her because she looks frail and undernourished. Ragna becomes upset and tells her mother that she was the one who asked her to watch her weight and not gain weight. Now, her mother is upset because she is not eating. Ragna storms off to her room, angry, and sends a voice message to Elsa, expressing her happiness and newfound sense of peace, which she attributes to not eating anything all day. Elsa replies, saying she also feels relieved, especially since she no longer has to purge after eating. After 2 days, Ragna's parents talk to her because she hasn't eaten anything in that time. She reassures them that she is fine and explains that what she is doing is part of a mindful eating program supervised by Novak. Meanwhile, Ben's mother visits the school principal, Doris, to complain about Novak and her influence on the students, accusing her of manipulating them and encouraging them not to eat. Doris defends Novak, saying she teaches the students mindful eating and provides significant support. During this time, the students are seen pretending to eat during lunch while their plates are full of food. Doris notices this and asks one of the students, Helen, if she is feeling unwell since she isn't eating. She also inquires why Fred isn't attending ballet lessons, mentioning that the instructor complained about him. Fred explains that he failed a math test and wanted to dedicate more time to studying. Later, Doris sits with Novak and deliberately eats a biscuit in front of her, apologizing for eating too much. Novak, without realizing it, responds that it's normal until one gets used to not eating at all. Doris is taken aback by this comment and begins to suspect that Ben's mother might have been right. Novak is later seen in her room, anxious and worried because she accidentally revealed too much to Doris, which could expose her involvement in the Zero Club and her efforts to recruit students. It is then revealed that Novak follows a strange cult, praying to its deity for guidance and support to continue her journey. The next morning, Ben tries to wake Fred but finds him unresponsive. Panicked, he rushes out to seek help. Fred is taken to the hospital, where it is revealed that he has fallen into a diabetic coma due to incorrect insulin doses. His life is in danger. The doctor informs Fred's father that his body is extremely weak and appears malnourished, suggesting he hasn't eaten in a long time. Fred's father confronts Doris about his son's condition and how he became so emaciated. Doris assures him that student health is their top priority and attributes Fred's weight loss to his diabetes. Fred bids his father farewell with visible sadness as his father leaves him in a weakened state. Meanwhile, Ragna is secretly eating, but later visits Doris's office to discuss Novak, particularly her close relationship with Fred. Doris then speaks with the ballet instructor, Da, who expresses his discomfort with Novak, describing her as strange and her relationship with Fred as even stranger. Doris becomes increasingly concerned, sensing that Novak poses a threat to the students and the school. Ragna's father organizes a meeting with other parents, as he was the one who suggested Novak teach their children mindful eating. However, he reveals that Novak took one of the students to the opera, which is strictly prohibited. During the meeting, one parent expresses a desire to have Novak dismissed from the school, and everyone agrees. The next day, Doris informs Novak that she will be let go based on the parent's request. Novak is shocked, and, as she leaves Doris's office, she overhears. Her fellow teachers are talking about her, saying that she is the reason for her being tense. They also mention that her weight has become very light, and she bounces off the trampoline while playing. They suspect she has become overly attached to the students because she has no children or family and lives alone. When Novak returns home, she prays to her gods, asking them to guide her on the right path. At night, Freddie visits Novak to get to know her, trust her, and believe in her. Later, we see parents struggling with their children to get them to eat normally again, especially Elsa, whose father upsets her by forcing her to eat against her will. After eating, she runs to the bathroom to throw up, but discovers that her parents have locked the bathrooms. The next day, Elsa locks herself in her room, refusing to eat, and tells her father that the way food is produced today poses a danger to humanity, destroying their bodies and health. She believes that anyone deprived of food is a free person and a threat to capitalism. Her mother responds, warning her that she will suffer from malnutrition and die. Later, Elsa's parents discover that she ate, but then put her finger in her mouth to vomit it up. Shockingly, she then eats the vomit from the plate with a fork. At this moment, her parents are horrified by their daughter's condition. Suddenly, Elsa tells them that the only person who can change her perspective on food is her teacher Novak. Elsa's parents decide to meet with the parents of Rajna and Ben to discuss Novak, believing she is the only one who can help their children. Initially, Ben's mother objects to seeking Novak's help, blaming her for what happened to their children. However, she eventually agrees. We then see all the students gathered at Novak's house, where they officially become members of the Zero Club. They are all happy about this. On Christmas, each student celebrates with their family, seemingly eating normally. However, the next morning, the maid discovers that Elsa has hidden a container under her bed to vomit into, deceiving her family into thinking she is eating. She later disappears. Around the same time, Ben's and Rajna's parents discover that their children are mimicking Elsa's behavior and have also run away. It is revealed that they have all fled with Novak to a distant, isolated place. At school, all the parents are sitting with Doros and are wronged by what happened to their children and because the excuse Helen gave them. And it appears that she is upset because she didn't escape with them because of her travel to Switzerland with her mother. Suddenly, Elsa's mother says that she will stop eating in order to understand the reason that made her daughter do all of this. So Helen tells her that faith is the reason. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button so you never miss an updates. See you in the next video.